You finally stop. No notifications, no tasks, no pressure. And yet, something feels wrong. A quiet discomfort, an urge to reach for your phone, to do something. Not because you need to, but because stillness feels unfamiliar. Why does rest, the very thing you say you want, feel so difficult to stay in? You tell yourself you're tired, burned out even. You look forward to the moment when everything slows down. But when it finally does, your mind doesn't follow. Instead, thoughts begin to surface, loose, unorganized, sometimes uncomfortable. Things you avoided earlier in the day start to reappear. Small worries, unanswered questions, unprocessed emotions. And suddenly, rest doesn't feel like relief. It feels like exposure. So you interrupt it. You open an app, start a task, create noise. Not because you want stimulation, but because silence feels harder. This is not laziness, and it's not a lack of discipline. It's a pattern, a deeply learned relationship between your brain and stillness. You are not bad at resting. You were trained to associate rest with something unfamiliar, not physically unsafe, but psychologically unfamiliar. Your brain is not rejecting rest. It's rejecting what emerges when everything else disappears. Rest removes distraction, and distraction has been doing a job you may not have noticed, protecting you from what you haven't had time or space to feel. To understand this, you have to look at how your brain is wired. There's a network in your brain called the default mode network. It activates when you're not focused on the outside world. When you stop doing, this network starts doing. It brings up memories, simulates the future, replays conversations, processes identity. In simple terms, when your body rests, your mind begins to sort. But here's the problem. If your daily life is filled with constant input, notifications, work, conversations, content, your brain never fully processes anything in real time. So it delays and stores, like unopened files. Then, when you finally rest, the system catches up all at once. That discomfort you feel is not rest itself, it's the backlog. Another layer sits beneath this, your nervous system, the balance between being alert and being calm. If you've spent long periods in a high alert state, deadlines, pressure, constant stimulation, your body adapts. It begins to treat busy as normal. And when you suddenly slow down, your system doesn't recognize it as safe. It interprets it as unfamiliar. And unfamiliar often feels like danger. So instead of relaxing, you feel restless. Your body subtly pushes you back into motion. There's also something else happening. Your brain learns through association. If your sense of worth has been tied to productivity, finishing tasks, moving forward, staying useful, then rest begins to feel like the opposite of value. Not consciously, but internally. Stillness starts to feel like falling behind. So even when you want to rest, a deeper system resists it, not because it's broken, but because it's consistent. So how you change this? Not by forcing rest, but by retraining your system. Slowly, gently. Don't jump from constant activity into complete silence. That's too abrupt. Instead, slow down in layers. Reduce stimulation step by step. Let your brain adjust without shock. Rest doesn't have to mean emptiness. If you leave your mind unstructured after constant input, it will flood. So give it a place to go. Write, reflect, observe. Let your mind process without overwhelming you. And notice something important. Rest often becomes uncomfortable because it turns into self-evaluation. I should be doing more. I'm wasting time. That thought alone creates tension again. So shift this. Rest is not a reward. It is maintenance. Not something you earn, but something your system needs. Don't aim to enjoy long stillness immediately. Build tolerance. Start small. 2 minutes, then 5, then 10. You are not trying to master rest. You are teaching your system that it can stay there without needing to escape. And when the discomfort appears, because it will, notice the urge, the impulse to reach for something, to break the silence. Pause, just for a moment. Don't obey it immediately. That small gap changes everything, because in that gap, your brain begins to relearn. That discomfort does not require instant relief. Here's the simplest way to understand all of this. Your mind is like a room that has been noisy for a long time. Voices, movement, constant sound. Rest is not just turning off the noise. It's hearing everything that was already inside the room. At first, it feels overwhelming because it's unfamiliar, because it's been delayed. But over time, as things are processed, the room changes. It becomes quieter, not because you forced silence, but because there is less left unresolved. Rest stops feeling like exposure and starts feeling like space. So if rest feels uncomfortable to you, it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means your system hasn't learned it yet. You've adapted to noise, to movement, to constant engagement. Now you're learning something new. Not how to stop, but how to be without needing to escape. And that takes time. So the next time you sit in silence and something inside you stirs, don't rush to quiet it. Just notice, because that discomfort is not a sign to leave. It's a sign that something inside you is finally being heard.